or missing anyone. All right, let's start off with Jess, and we will go to Audrey. What's hot, what you appreciate?
What's hot is I got a good ways ahead in my classes and started talking with my professors about not getting out of school early, but like started the process. And what do I appreciate? I really appreciate the entire staff. They surprised me for an entire birthday weekend, not just a day. It was an entire weekend filled with surprises, and I felt so loved and it was awesome.
Cool. Love that. Let's go to Audrey, and then we'll go to Cassidy.
What's hot is VCA's right around the corner, and I appreciate my friends.
All right, let's go to Cassie, then Deanna.
All right, so what's hot is we have a potential buyer for our house, so we might be moving out sooner than later, which is really exciting. And they want to buy like all of our furniture, so we don't even have to move. So cool stuff. And what do I appreciate is new opportunity and the staff. Love you guys.
All right, let's go to Deanna, and we'll go to Anthony.
What's hot? I've been cooking a lot for myself and for my friends, a lot more than usual. And then what I appreciate my family since I got to FaceTime with them for a long time today.
Nice. Where's your family?
They're in Tampa, and I moved to Gainesville last week.
Okay, cool. So you just started your first, so you weren't there in the fall, just spring?
Yeah, this is my first time living on my own. I was at home during the fall.
Cool. All right, there you go. Some changes then. Welcome to Swamp Town. Let's go to Anthony, and we'll go to Nick and Antonio.
So what's hot is the VCAs, like Cassie said. I'm very excited about that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then what do I appreciate? My family and my 2 yellow labs.
All right, let's go to Nick and Antonio, and then we'll go to Nick Hernandez.
All right, so what's hot is Jessica Shannon finally succumbed. She's coming to Tallahassee today, which I'm very excited about. And then what I appreciate is all my friends, everyone here going into 2020 with this new branch class, or 2021, my bad. With the new branch class, I'm really excited for that.
All right, let's go to Anthony, and we'll go to Nick.
All right, for me, what's hot is the VCAs are up this weekend. I'm pumped for that. I remember last year was awesome. I wish it was in Atlanta, but it'll still be nice virtually. And I appreciate my roommates and everyone in the staff and everything that's been going on.
All right, let's go to Nick, and we'll go to Rochelle.
So what's hot is, of course, like everyone's been saying, VCAs. I'm gonna get my mom on there, so I'm excited to have her see everything that's going on. And then also, what's hot is, I'm appreciative of is my family. I'm just grateful for them.
All right, let's go to Rochelle, and then we will go to Eric and Mason, aka Micah Browns. Let's take us home.
Cool. So what's hot is just getting organized and learning different like coaching reps and whatnot. So that's been really fun, and I've just been having a lot of fun with it. And what do I appreciate is my family. They threw me a big surprise birthday party yesterday, and it was a lot of fun.
Wait, Rochelle, was your birthday yesterday too?
Yeah, mine's yesterday. Jessica's was Friday.
Okay. Well, happy belated birthday. I didn't know that one.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Congrats, and I guess not congratulations. Just happy birthday. Let's go to Eric, and we'll go to Mason.
What's hot is that I've been going to the gym really frequently. I hit a new squat PR just a couple days ago, and I really, really appreciate my planner. That thing's been keeping me sane.
Hey, I was gonna say don't skip leg day. Cassie said booty gains. All right, let's go to Mason.
What's hot is Nick. I'm just kidding. What's hot is the Bucks won yesterday. Can you guys hear me? I'm frozen. All right, cool. I just froze. What's hot? The Bucks won yesterday. What do I appreciate? I appreciate you, Andrew, taking some time and giving us some guidance.
Yes, sir. You guys got it. Well, we can go ahead and kick things off and dive into the day. I want to address a couple things. I also mainly just want to offer some support to you guys during this time period. So I want to welcome you all to the staff meeting here today. And we'll probably have I've got some things on my list that I want to go over, some quick announcements for you all. I want to do a quick review of spring calendar, what's important now, and on some quick things for recruiting, training, sales updates, and then just have some space for some Q&A for anyone that has some. So we're gonna fly rapid fire through this stuff, and you're gonna have to realize too that y'all are gonna have to help me out a little bit with this because I do not know all the nuances of who's running what and what's being taken care of by who inside of your office right now. So y'all will have to help me out on a little bit of those things, but I do know what's important right now and what your team should be kind of focused on as we go into the week here. So first thing is, I think as of now, I think I just saw someone in your office sell a complete set or something just now.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with Carter and he upgraded his parents' set to a complete set.
Cool. Is this new launch from this past week?
Yeah, from this last training class.
Okay, cool. And you guys, it looks like this last training class, is that most of what the sales is coming from this week? Was the training class? Yeah. The new one?
There's a couple people. There was a couple people from before.
I think.
Okay, cool.
That's something to note real quick. Like we hopped on training on Thursday and we were like, oh shit, this quality is awful. But it really just goes to show, no, seriously. I mean, it just goes to show like if you just put some time and energy into people, anyone can sell.
Yeah, and you guys are looking at finishing off at like a 15 grand week here almost. I was originally had my notes was congrats on a 10K new business week, but it looks like you guys are going to finish off. You're at 14.5 right now, and so you should be finishing off over 15K in new business, which is honestly, guys, nice work. I mean, at this point, you guys don't even need my call. We're done. Thanks, guys. Good. No, but it is a solid start to the spring campaign and getting this team off the ground and running because it's been a couple weeks of not so hot. Which is part of why I'm hopping on here in the first place, to offer a little some support in this regards. Okay, so I also want to let's start off with this. Let's walk through a little bit of spring calendar. What's important now, and then I'll give you guys some updates. Before I even do that, I do want to let you know that so I'm going to offer you guys a little support. And first thing I want to say really is just thank you guys for doing what you've been doing. Obviously, a lot of you all have gone out of your way to really support with Mike and his team, and just during this time period, I can let you know that like goes a long way. I know Mike really appreciates that. I appreciate it, and obviously, I think most of you are being paid to do this, and this is your positions and jobs, but still the fact that you're going out of your way, to really support and be a leader during this time period does mean a lot. Mike has developed himself and built his office to the district manager CEO model, which affords him the opportunity to be able to do something like this. And for my future district managers on this call or new to be district managers in this summer, really that's probably the intention and the direction that all of you all want to be able to one day run your district offices and organizations in a similar capacity. But I know coming from just the way I've seen my staff show up for me at different time periods in my life, it really does mean a lot. And this is probably one of Mike's most important, if not the most important time period that he's ever had in his life thus far, in many different ways. And so I think what's exciting is he'll be able to come back as a more invigorated leader, probably when it matters the most, which is, during the summertime. And you all really did a great job supporting him during this time. So thanks for going on your ways ahead of time to do that. I know it doesn't go overlooked for me, and it definitely doesn't get overlooked by Mike. And I also know that it's well-deserved to him too. He's poured his heart and soul out to so many different other people on this call before, and always been there for y'all when y'all needed it. And now it's nice that he can receive maybe some of that same love here too. So, in the same notion of supporting Mike, I'm taking out my time to run this call today because I want to make sure, this is still Mike's business and bread and butter. I hope you guys realize too that Mike being gone in the hospital, I don't know if any of y'all know how medical bills work, but that is not going to be cheap by any means. And this is his business and his livelihood as well. It's also a source of income that will have to pay for the astronomically high medical expenses that are going to be incurred during this time period. And so the success of his office is also important. And outside of just, being there for him personally, I want to offer my help and support in that too, to make sure his office is staying afloat. And Scotty D is also looking to help support a little bit during this time period too. So I'll let you guys know in a quick update, but moving forward, Scott just wanted to kind of, and I know, let me make sure this is correctly, by the way, that I believe I have Anthony, Rochelle, and Cassie. You guys are all on 2% right now, correct?
Yep.
As the full-time AMs, Mason, Jess, Audrey, all at 1%, right? And then we have our part-timers, Madison, Deanna, and Victoria, if that is accurate here, I think, right now.
Mhm.
Okay. So just so you know, if you're we're gonna be doing a little bonus contest for a lot of you all. Okay, just to kind of offer you some support and offer the office and the team some support. So if you're on 2% or 1% on top of whatever you make off the office, we're gonna be giving you guys $100 bonus just per week. All you have to do to get that bonus is the office has to ship 10 grand and new for the week, and you have to set 10 PRs a week. Okay, so those are just gonna be standards that will come along with it, but that's $100 bonus just for setting 10 PRs, basically. You know, so that's available to anyone that's at 1% or 2%. For our part-timers, we have a $50 bonus that you can get. All you have to do is set 5 PRs and sell $500. I believe those are the standards of being a part-time AM. Standard of being a full-time AM. The office should be over 10 grand and new for the week, and then you should be at least 10 PRs. And if you're a part-timer, just set 5 PRs a week, and make sure you're selling something on a week-to-week basis. Also probably do what I did in my office. I can double check with Scott on this one, but for part-timers, I also usually allow a rule if you double up on any of them. So if you sell like $1,000 a week, or if you set 10 PRs a week, like set 10 PRs but didn't hit the 500, or you sold 1,000 but didn't set the 5 PRs, you're also eligible for that too. So, you know, that's just a little bit extra, but hopefully that's gonna be throughout the rest of the spring campaign. As of now, we might change it or adjust it, you know, but that can be an extra $1,000, $2,000 for some of you all on this call, just for hitting standards on a weekly basis. Me and Mike and Scott all wanted to offer you all a little bit, just extra support financially during this time period. And we also don't want to make it a freebie. I don't want, if you're not setting PRs, then I don't, you know, in my opinion, you probably shouldn't be getting any extra bonuses or things like that too, in the first place. So that's a little freebie that you have. Any thoughts, comments on that?
When does that go into effect?
That will start. Good question. I actually don't know. Let me see if it's going to go into effect on that. You want it to go into effect on this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week we want it. I'll see if we can have that on Thursday's commission run. It will definitely be on the next paycheck. If not, cool. But I'll see if we can have that on this upcoming Thursday's run here. So start off with that. Number one. So some good news, exciting news first. Now on time for the bad news. I'm just kidding. There is no bad news. But you go and open up your planners and open up to January. So let's talk about real quickly. Here's what I want to walk you all through. I think what's important now for this call, and I think, Rochelle, are you in the waiting room on your other phones? I think you all have the office to a level of somewhat operational and kind of figuring it out right now. I think what's important, though, is you guys need to know the flow. So here's the thing is, like, you don't have a district manager. Like, you all can run the office on a week-to-week basis, on a function-to-function basis. But you don't have a leader that's kind of guiding you and telling you where to go, what's important right now, where we need to take things, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll probably be sending out some communication. I might just start, I probably would just start forwarding out maybe some comms to maybe Marino, Rochelle, and Cassidy, or just to I might just start sending them into the Tampa chat on just kind of like what's important for each day, something like that. But I think it's just kind of important. Again, we're not going to have, there's no DM calls and you guys, someone reporting back to you all on what's important right now. So that's the biggest thing. I think it's just staying important and stay in the loop with what is important in the current moment. So if you open up your calendars right now, I think the first thing is, obviously, it's going to be VCA's attendance. Okay, this is probably outside of the normal ebbs and flows of the business of the week-to-week functions of performance. So a couple different things. Number one, VCA's is this weekend. Okay, so as much as you all have an event from 2 to 6:30 on Friday, there is an event for our sales reps. Okay, and this is one of those events, kind of like SE2 during the summertime. If you have a sharp rep on your team right now, or anyone in your office, quite frankly, they don't even have to be sharp. If you have someone in your office that you want to be here in the month of February, you need to get them to this event. If you do not, I would bet, $100 that they will not be there in February working on your team anymore. If even more important, if you have someone that you want to play a role next summer as an AMI or potentially an AMC, you need to get them to this event. If they are not at this event, I can guarantee they will not be there this next summer, with almost a matter of fact. Okay, just how it works out. Very, very, very rare is the case that someone will not make it to this and then also be here with that. Like the next event is summer kickoff. Okay, from the VCAs. There aren't anymore. There is no fall classic. There is no SLC event. Maybe there's a division meeting that gets mixed in there somewhere. Not yet, but maybe there will be. But right now, there's no other events until summer starts for these types of people on the team. So if we want them there, we really got to get them there. So again, you all should be in the meeting, obviously, and there's stuff going on for branch and assistant manager candidates. But even if they're brand new reps, you want to have the same intensity of getting people confirmed for this event, just like you would for an SE1 or for an SE2 or for a fall classic or for any other meeting or conference that we have. So let's start off with that. Let's get some quick attendance projections for the VCAs. And I don't know if you guys want to break this down by maybe Anthony, Rochelle, and Cass. You guys all just give me a projection for you and your team on how many are coming to that or will be at the event. But yeah, how many do we have currently signed up, and how many of you guys have currently signed up as a team, and then how many are we projecting for each mini team, I guess?
For my team itself, it's going to be Lily, so just one person from the new training class.
All right, so it's Lily, and who else?
So I guess I can have those conversations today, just call through my team and just make sure that they're all registered.
It's the whole Tampa. How many active reps are in Tampa right now?
I can get my queue up. I believe it's around 20 something.
Queue probably isn't very accurate. There's a lot of people that are inactive that are listed as active.
Just cleared it out.
I cleared it out before this training class. There were about 20 to 30.
Q is updated?
Mm-hmm. It was updated before this last training class. I cleaned it out.
I know. Okay. I have.
Who's good at taking notes on this call? Rochelle. All right, perfect. I'm gonna just start a running hit list of activities and things that need to get done. And at the end of the call, I'm just gonna delegate them to different people, and we're just gonna get these done. So one of those would be 35 people are on queue right now. Is that up to date, including the new training class, or is that like a lot of people need to still get taken off?
No, that's
like outside of maybe a couple people from this past training that just dropped off. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, but is it pretty accurate?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. And approximately how many of those 35 people are on each person's team, respectively?
I have 7.
I have 8.
I have 10.
I don't think 35 is nearly accurate. Like we only had like 9 people on the report this week, and 2 of them were CSPs.
Yeah, so 10, 7, and 8, that's 25.
There's a couple of.
All right, so first thing to put on the list, Rochelle, is let's get Q updated and accurate with only active reps. That's activity number 1. So 10, 7, 8. Anthony, out of those 8 people, you think you could only once confirm, or you think you can only get 1 there?
I could probably get 4 or 5.
Cool. Is that including now technically Mason and Victoria are also on your team, are they not?
Yes, but the actual 8 is actual my sales reps.
Okay, cool. So it's 8 plus those 3, technically. Yeah. 3 including you. And all three of those people should be there as well, right?
Mason, Victoria, and Nick.
Is Nick on your team as well?
Yeah, Nick Hernandez and Anthony. I got 4.
Okay. So let me also put that there. Cool. Yeah, all 4 of those would be there as well, right?
Yes, I'll get them there.
Cool. So for BCA's attendance, we're looking at probably 4 managers.
And 4 to 5.
And then how many? And 4 to 5 reps. Cool.
I just forwarded over in the staff chat a list of people that were signed up a couple days ago from Tampa.
Perfect. I don't know who's on whose team, but y'all can look at that, I think, for reference as you give me your numbers. So Anthony, reps. 1 second. Actually, let me do this real quickly.
I already have 3 reps set up as of now, so I might even get 6.
Perfect. I'll leave you at 4 to 5 in attendance. Cool. Probably shoot for 6, maybe assume you have 1 or 2 that don't show up. Let's see, Rochelle. So that would be like about 8 to 9 total from your team, Anthony. Rochelle, how many? You have 7 active reps. How many managers do you have on your team? Is it just you, Jess, Deanna?
Yep, me, just Deanna.
Okay, so that would be 3. And
So-
then how many reps do you think you can get there?
Currently 2 signed up. And I was definitely getting Kermie there. I think, sorry, Mia's already signed up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I believe I'm at 4 right now, plus Deanna. So that's 5 out of the 7 that I said. So there's 2 people left.
Okay, so the seven's including the managers.
Yeah, not Jess though. I didn't include her.
So how many reps do you have?
6 minus Deanna. Yeah.
Cool.
6.
And Anthony, you have 8 reps, not including managers.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so Rochelle, we're probably looking at the 3 managers, 2 already signed up already, and then you get like maybe 1 or 2 more, you said?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So probably like what,
Okay.
6?
Yeah, I would say 6 for 6 out of our team.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're all like sales report active. They should all be there.
Oh, you think all 6 will be there on your team?
Yeah.
Plus Jess and Deanna?
Mm-hmm.
So 8.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
8. Okay. You're good. I'll put 3 managers, 5 reps. All right, Cass, same
Yeah,
thing. You have, it's you, Audrey, Madison. Is anyone else, other managers in your team?
Yep. And then I also have Eric on my team too.
Perfect. So
Yep.
that's managers. That'd be 4, right?
Yep. So 4 managers. And then I have, let's see, Miracle, Maya, Carter, and Adriana. So I have 4 reps so that I can get 2 VCAs.
4 are currently signed up, or 4 more additionally, or what?
4 more that I have to call to like promote that and get them registered.
Okay, cool. So do you have any already signed up or no?
No, not reps, managers, yes.
Okay, cool. So do you now, and the 10 that you gave me earlier, is that including managers or is that not including managers?
That is including managers.
Okay, cool. All right, so it sounds like the projection is 8 from Cassidy's team, 8 from Michelle's team, 8 to 9 from Anthony's team. We should have 24 or 25 people there as a team. Cool. So that's the big focus that I probably would have between now and then, outside of like normal. I'm giving you guys the outside of normal office functions focuses, right? Last 2 things is that's this weekend, and the VCA's event is actually 10 to 2. So keep in mind the boot camp is the VCA's part 1. The boot camp is probably more important for rep development. the VCAs, getting them and their parents there. We want make sure all managers and their parents are there at that event too. And for our more veteran people, I would just make sure that you're checking in with your team and actually making sure their parents there. I guess you guys are actually having an event in the office on Saturday, right? Cool. But parents can obviously hop on like virtually and stuff like that too as well. So that's this week. Here's a couple quick things for the spring in general. For those of you guys that have never been a manager or worked the spring before, it's a very, very, very heavy January month. Okay, very heavy campaign, which means that really January is the key. The unfortunate thing is that Tampa didn't really have a very strong January and, won't finish off that strong in January. This week will be not too shabby. But typically the way that it works spring is it's very high January, dips down February and March, and then goes back up in April as we start going into the summer. So here's how you want to think about this, okay? April is basically summer. April pretty much is the summer campaign, okay? And all of you all, like, you're doing one of two things in April, which is running your office and getting ready to run your office for the summertime, or you're an assistant manager on this team, which means you're cranking, like, we're really getting ready to rock and roll in this office, okay? So April is pretty much irrelevant. January is pretty much over. So it's really going to come down when I say, hey, if there's ever a couple weeks that want to be intense, it's these next couple weeks. I was talking to a couple other people earlier, and they were talking to me about like just some things that were going on in the office. And like one of the first things to start talking about was like sales and sales management. And I was like, hey, like, look, y'all don't have a problem with sales, man. Like, your team meetings are not the problem right now. Your problem is recruiting. Like, sales management doesn't matter when you have 25 active reps in the team and 15 of them are managers. When you're running team meetings for only like 10 people, like, the sales is not the problem. Recruiting is the problem. Nothing else really matters. Like, our attendance to workshops is not a problem right now. The problem is that, like, Tampa has launched less people in the past 2 months than they did in the month of September. And it was the months of December and January, which are supposed to be two of the biggest recruiting months of the year. Not giving you guys a hard time. I'm just saying like that. The biggest, if I was showing you reports right now of where Tampa's numbers are off, Tampa's numbers are off with recruiting. So that really comes from, actually, let me just ask you all, like, what's gonna impact recruiting the most right now? I'll probably say, hey, I have two things in my mind before basing answers. Rochelle, give me one.
Just from like my perspective, I think the awareness of recruiting could impact it heavily because I didn't realize last week I only set 3 PRs.
Yep. So the answer was buried in that answer, which is
setting PRs.
Setting PRs. So staff set PRs, number one. And what's the other thing that will impact recruiting right now?
Replicating our best people.
SMRAs.
Yeah.
SMRAs. Okay. So and here's what I want to get to too. And I think this is this is going to go back to, when we go into this summer. For those of you guys that are running an office, I have to tell you, like, it is very easy to get distracted and lost as a manager because there's just always so many things you could be doing. Like if we were saying, hey guys, what can we do to impact recruiting right now? We could have made a list of 50 activities. Literally, we could make a list of 50 different things that we all could do right now to impact recruiting. There's only really 2 things that matter at all right now. Okay. And this is the same way that it's going to be during the summertime when you're a branch, or a district, but as a district, you're pretty much like a new branch. There's always like 20,000 activities you could be doing. There's usually only 1 or 2 things that actually even matter in that moment, though, that are important to be getting done right that second. So one of the things is you guys have to keep in mind that, like, Tampa, that team, and Mike in general, you guys are some of the most, this is one of the most innovative teams in the country. When everything went to crap a lot this summer and the whole virtual thing was a very brand new dynamic for the company, Mike and the Tampa team, y'all's innovations really helped save the company in a lot of ways because you guys were able to innovate and change so fast. Okay. And the problem with innovation and change is that if you're constantly innovating and changing things, you forget like what's actually important and what matters the most, you know? And I noticed that sometimes when I was talking to some of y'all that were running like branches was like over the winter break, like a lot of y'all, when I talk to you, you're really confused and like lost and overwhelmed. And I was like, what is confusing right now? There's only like, there's like, they're like, oh, there's so much to get done. I have to do this and run this meeting with these people and coach this person. And I'm like, what do you mean? There's only two things you should be doing, which is sending out SMRA messages and hiring SMRAs. Nothing else matters if you don't have SMRAs. I couldn't possibly imagine what would be more important than hiring more SMRAs if you don't have any right now. You know, if you don't have anyone set for your interviews, like I had a conversation with someone and they were like, oh, well, my branch didn't do as hot on winter break because I wasn't coaching my people very well. I was like, well, how many people did you launch? Like 3. And it's like, okay, that wasn't why your branch didn't do hot over the winter break. It was because you didn't recruit, not because your coaching skills were off. It was because you only launched 3 people over the entire winter break. So you got to be able to focus and narrow the lens on like what's important and what really matters, which is why we're giving you guys some incentives around that. That's the 2 things that like legitimately this whole team, if everyone on this call just does nothing else different in the office except sets 10 PRs this week and next week, I promise you all, this team will quickly skyrocket in its results very, very, very fast. And you guys will go from being a team where everyone's like, what's happening in Tampa, to instantly right back on the top of the reports, literally without doing anything else. Nothing else can change this office. So everyone goes, let's set PRs the week. And y'all will start to get results. I promise you. So that's the first thing. And by the way, it's the same thing as you, like for, again, all of our branches and districts here. Part of me is running this meeting. Part of me is also help teaching you on like how to run your own meeting and run your own team next summer. It's like, hey, look, like if nothing else is working, just like there's one thing that is like a personal effort thing. And that's your actual PR set. It's your personal fire number. That's the one thing that's always within your control. And if you want to get that, it's the same conversation I had with Alex Arias today. She's got a big staff, like coming off of some not hot recruiting. I was like, look, you know, if you're gonna go on this trip, like the biggest thing is like you gotta like lock in and set 20 PRs this week and like get the staff will respond more when you start doing that and lead the example. And also that's gonna actually control the results. Same conversation I had with Jonathan this winter break when we were like not doing so hot was we got back in there and started setting PRs as a staff. Specifically, Jonathan started setting his PRs, and all of a sudden we had a bunch of studs in training and started doing well, and things started popping again. You know, so that's the biggest way that you guys can really impact it. So that's the first thing, which is why I'm offering you an incentive is like, you keep in mind, like I didn't have had a good interview show, you know, crush your workshop attendance, you know, get this many people to VCAs, and I'll give you $100 bonus. So it's just, nope, set 10 PRs, you get $100. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. Cause if everyone actually does that, like the team's going to start shipping 20 grand weeks, no problem. Very, very, very quickly and very, very fast. If everyone's actually on that same page with that personal recruiting effort there. So that's the first thing. Second thing is SMRAs, which who is in charge of that program right now? Or is there anyone in charge of that program? Or what's the status of the SMRA program in Tampa? Audrey?
Not much.
Yeah.
Rochelle and I kind of took ownership. And as of right now, we're focusing on sourcing. And we really just started sending out messages a couple of days ago. So
yeah, I think we just got a late start with that, like getting organized and like having the time with like Joseph and like getting that all planned out and then just actually implementing it and having like the urgency there.
Okay, cool. Well, when's the next SMRA training?
that's something Rochelle and I needed to talk about because typically we would run them Saturday, but
VCAs.
yeah, VCAs. Not in the schedule.
When is? Yeah, let me.
At least for this week.
I think I would charter real quickly. When's the next time that you guys would? I mean, I would recommend, assuming you can get some people hired it. When's the soonest that you could do it? We could do one on Sunday. You could do it after the VCAs event on Saturday. You could do it earlier on Friday, but I don't think that might be too soon.
Probably Sunday, like maybe like 11 to 2 or even later in the afternoon.
Okay. And Audrey, are you the one running it or is Rochelle running it right now?
We're doing like a bi-weekly. Every other.
So you run one, she runs one.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's do this. I wouldn't wait another week to get an SMRA training. actually happening, ran and launched. So Audrey, I would say, who wants, I mean, yeah, probably just run one on the 24th to start. And then probably run another one on the 30th.
Yeah.
After that, reevaluate. You might not need to do another one after that for like a week or two. But I would start off there. We probably should have 2 SMRA trainings, 24th and on the 30th. And then here's the next thing too, is that we're going to need a little bit extra juice with this. So in the name of helping with the sourcing of this, I don't need everyone to do this every single day, but raise your hand if you've sent SMRA messages before. All right, great. That's everyone. Could everyone for the next 2 days, between now and Wednesday, so if you can't do today, but between now and Wednesday, could everyone pick 2 of those days just to send out 25 to 30 messages on Instagram for SMRAs? If everyone does that together as staff, y'all will have the SMRA problem be quickly fixed. Now, if Audrey and Rochelle are the only ones sending out messages, y'all might have 2 people in SMRA training on Sunday. But if everyone actually does a thorough job and everyone sent out 25 messages today, 25 tomorrow, or if you don't have time today, maybe 25 Tuesday, 25 Wednesday, and you funnel those leads, get the phone numbers and funnel those leads into interviews for Audrey and Rochelle, y'all will probably have good results. Even guys? Yes, I would say guys too. Look, sending messages as a guy on Instagram, it's not like it doesn't work. It does work. It's not as good results. It's definitely better. You get more efficient results if you're not a guy. But if you're, but I would say guys, I think it's not going to hurt. You might only get 1 out of the 50, but if you got 1, it's going to help. Mason?
Audrey, Rochelle, I have I had my sister source SMRAs this winter break, and I didn't really take advantage of it with everything that I had going on personally. But there is about an attack list of 400 people that she could probably update for us.
Cool.
And numbers that haven't been called.
Beautiful.
So there's literally just interested people in the SMRA program at least 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and they haven't been called yet.
Cool.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't send messages.
Yeah.
It means that
Eric, what were you gonna say?
I just had a question. I also had a couple personal friends that were interested. They're just in the Clearwater area. So I know over Winter Branch, we weren't allowed to touch those because of territory. I don't know if that's still allowed or not.
We were allowed to.
Yeah. If they're in Clearwater itself, you and they're your friends, you could probably handle. Alex is now running Clearwater. So if they're SMRAs, if they live in Clearwater, but they went to a high school in Tampa or something-ish in that area, then you can just you can get them at your office. Otherwise, you could give them to Alex and her team's going to be at Palm Harbor. Yeah, it's going to be Alex. So, you surprised to know where that is? If they are his personal PRs, does territory matter? Yeah.
Launch as a field rep. But we're not gonna
because they're SMRAs.
Yeah, we're not.
Look, Eric, are they interested right now?
They were interested during winter break. I just didn't follow up with them because.
Honestly, dude, are you close friends with them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just recruit. That's fine. Just bring them on as SMRAs to your team. The reason I would say that, I normally wouldn't say that, but Alex has Sarasota and Clearwater right now, so it's not gonna hurt her by any means. I doubt it's gonna really. I'd rather them go to somebody and actually get some work done than just not have anything happen if they're close personal friends. In general, though, the rule of thumb is that you're not able to recruit SMRAs that are outside of your territory. But I'll make an exception for that for this one. So. Let's just make sure we won't go it's an exception for 1 or 2 people, and we're not actively trying to recruit or send messages from people outside the area. bottom is like, long story short, it looks like Audrey, Rochelle, you guys have multiple people that you could set up for interviews already right now between Mason and Eric. And then can everyone give me a thumbs up if you can commit to sending out 25 social media messages 2 out of the next 3 days? Cool. Appreciate that. That should get you guys some more positive momentum. By the way, if all we do from this call, if all y'all take away from this is just like that, make some moves with SMRAs, everyone helps fuel that and drive that a little bit for Audrey, Rochelle, and everyone just starts sending 10 PRs, like I could probably end this call and y'all will be off to the races. Cool. I think there's some other things that we want to talk about, but that's like the first thing. And the reason getting at this too, by the way, is like, don't delay with this, because it really is, again, it's a heavy January recruiting. The problem is in the spring is people stop looking for jobs in March. Okay, so people that want to find work, they don't get work in March. They just say, screw it, I'll wait till the summer comes around. So April is basically summer recruiting. And that means essentially there's not a lot of job market activity in the month of March, which means you can still recruit in March if you've got a lot of positive momentum coming off of February. But if you don't have a lot of positive momentum coming off of February, March is a dead month. April is a dead month until you ramp it for the summertime. And quite frankly, February is the lowest sales month out of the year, 12 months out of the year. So that's why I'm really encouraging y'all to get it going now, just because the next 2 to 3 weeks really are like pretty crucial timing. You know, and I think you guys can, you totally can. And can have a really, really awesome spring this spring as a team. But let's say in a world where like we waited another like 3 or 4 weeks to get this going, I mean, I don't want to say throwing the hat early, but it would kind of be like, all right, well, this is the spring. This is how it's going to go. You know, we're already a month and a half into it now. And, you know, like think about it this way. It's like September was a big month for the fall. Like we've already finished January almost. You know, so there's only really 3 months left. And then, you know, April is that transition month there too. So any questions about calendar or flow or anything like that or anything just in general? What's important now, Rochelle?
So this is about like the flow. So in those months where it's like dead, what would our focus be? Is it still like trying to drive recruiting, or like how does that work?
Yeah, let me give you the flow of the spring real quickly here. So January is recruiting. Heavy recruiting. So that's going to be, you guys are coming into it a little bit late. So that's going to be the focus of the next 2 to 3 weeks. Just recruiting. That's the first thing. Okay. Next thing is really that will be the focus probably till like the second week of February. After that, what's going to happen is I think from the recruiting, it's all about painting vision for them. So it's really getting people recruited and on the team. And then once you have them on the team, the focus really is just retaining them until summer. Okay, with a little bit extra recruiting still happening in the background. So it's not like you want to stop recruiting. You don't, like, recruiting should never stop in the vector office or business. But the focus should really be on getting quality recruits in the doors and then holding on to them until the summer comes around. And the way that you hold on to them is through contests, promotions, PCs, you know, driving attendance to meetings and painting vision for what their summer could be like. Like that's really every team meeting in the spring is like, hey, it's like next summer, painting vision for next summer and how exciting next summer is going to be, what they can do this spring to set up a really exciting summer for themselves. So January, the next couple of weeks is probably focused on recruiting. A couple weeks after that, it's just kind of like building up towards March. And March is going to be our March Madness competition. So that's kind of like the curation period. We have basically now till March Madness. So it's about probably a 5 or 6 week gap. So it's probably 3 to 4 weeks of heavy recruiting, 2 weeks building up to the March Madness push. And, you know, if I had to take a guess, March is probably around the time where Mike will step back in a little bit. He'll really be back in probably in April. But March, he'll probably be back in like a little bit more than he is now. So I really think it's just navigating over the next couple of weeks. But if I had to guess, like he'll probably be stepping in a little bit on the March Madness push. Which, if you want to put that into your calendars, March Madness starts on March 8th. And it goes to the 22nd. So 2 things that are going to happen on March Madness. If you all raise your hand, if you've ever been through spring before, what, or if it's just a reminder. Sorry. I wasn't sure. I said raise your hand if you've never been through a spring before, but anyways, it doesn't matter, by the way. There's 2 competitions going on at the same time. So one of the competitions is that there's going to be an office head-to-head competition. So there'll be like a 16-week bracket or 16 office bracket, and each week people are paired up against different offices. So that's one competition that will be happening. And it's a top person in new business sales during that time period. The next competition that's happening is the actual push for representatives. And that goes from the 8th until the 22nd. So from the 8th to the 22nd. Okay. And after that, it's just gearing up till the summertime. The summer kickoff is on April 10th. Okay, so the main thing you guys really need to be focused on is just between now and March Madness. How many recruits can we get launched? How many SMRAs can we get launched between now and March Madness? And, you know, how big of a team can we build up until March? And then it's a push to basically carry people through until the summertime starts. Then it's kind of finals week in April, and it's already like this is an AM program. So the other big focus, I think, for the spring is just AM corralling and development. So when you all get good reps on your team, you want to make sure that we're developing those people probably into assistant managers. Because if they're not being developed into something like that, then they're probably not going to stay around for very long. Again, just more likely than not. There's not enough events to kind of keep them around that long. So I would say for the spring, again, does everyone know what the process is for TLA and for onboarding new TLA reps? Let me go ahead and maybe send it into the chat here. Okay, so at 1K in sales, and this is just something that needs to be happening. I don't know who's in charge of this per se or what. But this is something that needs to be happening in your office on a weekly basis. At 1K in sales, they can network. I'll just put this in. Okay, 1K in sales, someone can start to network with me. So there's a text approach that you should be sending out to your people. I think this will probably be just Anthony, Cass, and Rochelle. Y'all are probably the ones that need to be facilitating this. Like, you just had a bunch of reps at 1K this weekend, right? I haven't gotten any text yet from any of them. So they should reach out. There you go. Congratulations, first. Here you go. Bingo. And then there's also an initial text that is sent out before that one. Do you have that one, Mason? That's like sent as a prelude to that when they launched their first weekend?
That's not the text?
No, that is the text after they hit their first promo. But there's one that like preludes that to kind of set that text up. I can send it out if you don't have it.
Yes. It's like a set selling Saturday, and it's like, hey, if you hit your first.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that's the one that you send out on Saturdays, the day after they launch from training. It's like, hey, it's that selling Saturday. By the way, when you hit first promo, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our divisional manager, Andrew Evans. Would you be excited to introduce yourself? Boom. Hey, nice work on hitting your first promo. Here's his info. Go ahead and text and introduce yourself. Okay, that's step one. So here's the deal. Without Mike in the office, this is more important than it's ever been before. Okay, to make sure that you're leveraging somebody else outside of the office. At 3K in sales, you are allowed to invite them to Wednesday TLA preps at 5 o'clock, not to national preps. Like, I think, and I wasn't going to tell him not to be there, but I think Josh Wise was at the TLA prep on Saturday, which is fine, but I don't think he's officially been accepted to TLA. So no one should be at monthly preps unless they've been officially accepted to TLA. But once at 3K, they're allowed to be invited. At 6K, they could be invited to come to your staff meetings or an AMI meeting, although I don't know if you're going to invite people to those ones this spring. And then at 10K in sales, they can officially begin the TLA onboarding process, which would look like a conversation about TLA with manager, which once you have reps at 10K, just reach out to me for some direction. So usually Mike would be the one to do that, or I would be the one to do that during the summertime. You'll have them watch a 45-minute TLA video. They'll fill out the TLA application. Then they'll have a conversation with their district manager, Mike, or maybe myself or something, or I'll put Jonathan or PSM in charge of that. And then after that, if they get a TLA, they'll get official correspondence acceptance from me. So starting probably in the next 4 to 8 hours, I will unveil our assistant manager spring training game plan. And that will essentially set up what the next couple of months will look like for the onboarding of new assistant managers in our division. So there will be a series of training calls. There will also be probably once a month, a assistant manager opportunity calls that will take place. And again, to answer Rochelle's original question, like that's what you want to be driving people towards. If people are excited about next summer, if people are excited about advancement, make sure they get on those opportunity calls, and I'll provide all the direction and layering from there. Cool. Answer some of your questions, Rochelle, on the flow of the spring. Other questions right now? Let me just open it up. It's 3:53 here, and we're gonna have a hard cutoff at 4 o'clock. So actually, let me hit on a couple of different things and just open up for some Q&A that you all have. All right, I think main things, if you're taking away anything from right now, it's just what's important right now is getting the SMRA program up and running in your office, and then making sure that there's some sort of PR set number that's actually happening in the office. Okay, the Tampa team cannot be putting up, like Tampa should be putting up 150 PR set per cycle per week. You know, if it's just the people on here are setting up, you know, I have just, even if the 6 people that are on 1 or 2% are setting up 10, and the other people are all setting up 5, I mean, that should be 75 to 80 PRs there alone. You add on 30 to 40 PRs from SMRAs, you add on another 30 to 40 PRs from conveyor, boom, you guys are talking about setting up like 130 to 150 per week. This office should never be below 100 PRs per week, okay? Even in the fall and spring. And there's been a couple weeks, again, this is why like we don't have to guess why the office wasn't performing. The PR set number was at like 20 for like multiple weeks in a row for the whole office. Actually, it was less some weeks. And by the way, there was similar problems in other offices as well. But that's really where we got to start. PR set number, focus that, and get the SMRA program running. And then once we build up the sales team a little bit more, there's probably some nuances with, you know, improving training. Probably some nuances with improving our sales performance, our team meetings, our workshop attendances. That might be, you know, 2 weeks from now when we get a call. But right now, the first focus has to be recruiting, because none of that stuff really matters until we actually get the team expanding and performing at a high level. It also looks like it sounds like you got some training pop this weekend. Mason, where a lot of the training kinks kind of worked out, feel like it went smoother this week? I mean, I don't know what changed. Or is it just PDI is a lot better this weekend?
Yeah, I was doing quite a bit of PDI on Saturday morning, more than I usually do. Which usually I don't.
A lot of it sounds like PDI. Yeah, here's one thing I'll tell you guys is that, look, if you don't do PDI Friday night and Saturday, your training will do nothing. Every time. You know, just so you guys know, I went to San Francisco, or not, I don't even know where to say I was in. I was in San Diego this weekend. We had 18 people in training. They brought back a whopping like $200 in sales. That, for me, is a surefire sign of the manager that trained them did not take PDI his first weekend. That he trained them and said, deuce. Or did that on Saturday morning, went out Friday night and didn't do it Saturday morning and try to recover on like Sunday. It's too late. The training class has already died. All of the work that was invested into those people that whole entire week is done for, because now they all have either quit, have ghosted you, or they are all trying to start their first few demos with terrible mentalities, or they're okay because they're base pay chasers and that was their plan the whole time. Okay. You've got to really, and again, I think, so this is just an important thing to know, is y'all had some success this weekend. Part of it was probably training. Part of it was probably because Mason was really crushing PDI and Saturday morning, and he knows what he's doing with PDI. So I don't know if you guys are going to expect Mason. I don't know if it's Mason's job to do it every single Saturday morning, but it's probably not, if I had to take a guess. So I just think one thing, like for our team captains on the call, like Anthony, Rochelle, Cass, when y'all launch people, like you just have to make sure their first 3 demos, you have to speak to them on the phone with. And honestly, after that, guys, like here's the deal. If you wanted to like goof off on PDI on Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, it's still important. You probably could and get away with it. You can't do that for their first few. You can't do it Saturday morning on a Thursday, Friday, 2 to 9 training. You can't do it Saturday morning and Saturday. Like just until Saturday at 2:00, like if you haven't touched base with them multiple times before then, the training class is already done. You know, that's why I'm always like when I have even my staff sometimes, if we haven't sold anything by like 3 or 4 o'clock on Saturday, and they're like, oh yeah, but we got a lot of our best demos tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, we'll see if we make it to those. You know, like if they haven't gotten any results yet, Saturday afternoon, early evening, like we're probably not selling crap the whole training. You know, it's usually pretty accurate. So, someone's gonna add something, comments, questions on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in the staff schedule, we do have all staff on like Zoom Saturday morning for 4 hours, like everyone taking incoming PDI and doing outgoing PDI to the regular team. It was just a little adjusted for TLA, but moving on, that is what's in the schedule.
Do we really need every single person that's on this phone call on that Saturday morning doing PDI to 10 people?
I was just about to say.
Like that's how many active reps we have on the team. There's more of you all than there are of them.
We only have team captains hopping on the Zoom for Saturday morning.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably a good plan. And I think that time period will probably be allotted well, maybe for the next couple of weeks. Team captains, if you're running a team, your Saturday morning's got to be clear anyways, if you're actually like working and really running a team. And I think, again, some of you all are not going to, you're going to talk about 3 reps. So that would be my priority. My second priority would be like, knock out, like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If you're going to be working Saturday morning, be working Saturday morning and like set some PRs, like do some other recruiting activities. So it lightens your load on Sunday afternoon or something like that, if you're going to commit a couple hours of your schedule to Saturday. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I don't think we need 10 people on Zoom on Saturday morning to take PDI from the couple people that just launched. In fact, you really just need 3 like tops. So, or you know, do PDI to the rest of the team if you guys don't have Friday PDI in the schedule and it's happening on Saturday mornings to set up Sunday. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think that's actually one of the biggest parts is that fact that like 2 things I told Mason was, number 1, I don't think we should have 4 people facilitating training. Of not 4 people facilitating training, but we shouldn't have 5 different people sending out messages to the trainees if you guys aren't 100% on top of it. And here's I'll just share with you, the risk of having a big, large staff with this is that there's too many cooks in the kitchen and responsibilities get spread throughout too many people. That's the thing, is everyone's supposed to do PDI on Saturday morning. So what happens is no one does PDI on Saturday mornings because everyone's like, oh, I thought you were going to grab that call. No, I thought you were going to take it. I've seen it happen many, many times. It's not on you all. That's just how things work when responsibilities get spread between too many people versus when there's 1 or 2 people that they're 100% in charge of that. That's their job. They need to own that. Then they take more leadership and authority and autonomy on it too. So, Mason stepped up this weekend, and Mason I know has been helping out a lot with training and stuff and support here. Mason's not even a full-time AM. He's only on 1%. So I think we need to see a little bit more just leadership from our DMCs that are on this call that are kind of running and facilitating with the team and the stuff too. I think you guys lean on Mason for guidance, as he's probably the most veteran person on this call and he's ran, successful offices in the past. But I don't think he's lean on him for guidance and advice and direction, but I don't think he's really supposed to be the one doing most of the operations and actually getting it done. If I'm correct right now. So questions. I know it's 4 o'clock. I know some people are gonna have to run here in a second. What I can stay on for. I need to have Mason. I'm gonna have a conversation with you right after this. But lingering questions or things that we still feel need to be solved or figured out before we wrap up the call today, Audrey?
Yeah. So I had posted a document back in the Zoom chat. And for those of you who are sending out messages just these next couple days, if you want to add a column with your name on it, that way we can keep track of the numbers, and then Rochelle and I can reach out. Most of the helpers, you're already on this document, but for everyone else, be sure to just add a column for yourself.
Cool. And I'd like to do 2 things actually in that staff chat. So number 1 is in that staff chat, whenever you hit 10 PRs, unless you're a part-time AM, when you hit 5 PRs, you can just post it up. But if you're a 1 or 2% AM, once you hit 10 PRs for the week, just post a little green checkbox and just say 10 PRs set for the week. You got till Wednesday to do that. Anyone already at 10, by the way? Nice job, Jess. Nice job, Cassidy. Who's over 5 already? Anthony and Nick. Cool. Everybody else, once you hit 10 for the week before Wednesday, post a little green check mark and just say 10 PR set for the week. And then also, I just want to see it from you twice. It could be today and tomorrow. It could be tomorrow and Wednesday. But once you send out 25 messages for SMRA leads, again, make sure you follow up with them. Don't just send out the messages and stop checking your Instagram DMs. Like, make sure you follow up and get phone numbers if they're interested. But once you send out those messages, I want to know that too. Outside of that, those are the main updates. Any other final follow-up Q&A? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we're driving some. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Mason, Rochelle.
I sent you, my bad, Rochelle. I sent you, it's not super urgent, but I sent you that thing about Conveyor like 3 weeks ago, the people that were 3 weeks ago. I think we reached out to all those old people, but did we just send them all? Like, just screw it, send them all?
Send it.
I sent the ones for the past, 2 weeks, but those ones that gave me the warning.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, Mason. If you know of anyone that left on a bad note, I would not send it. Like, if they left and quit and it was a bad thing, then no, I would not send that person's list. If they left on a fine note, then I would just send it. And again, I wouldn't ask them necessarily for permission. I would just kind of send them a heads up that you did. If it's more than if it's 50 or less, then just send it. They're probably not even gonna know. If it's someone that put down 200, 300 people, I would send them a heads up so they don't reach out to you, because they will get blown up a little bit if you're sending out 200 plus. Yeah. So use your discretion, but I would send out close to most, if not all.
Yeah. I think Cassidy reached out to every single person, right, Cass?
Yeah, I reached out to everybody in the past 3 training classes before the last one.
Perfect. Mason, you could probably go further back than 3 weeks, by the way. I bet you could go back to 5, 6.
No, 3 weeks. She went back 3 weeks after 2 weeks. So that means it was 5 weeks in total. Right?
Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Rochelle?
I have a question for the training. So we're getting you're telling us me, Cassidy, Anthony to take more responsibility in it, but Mike is telling us that he wants all of the previous BMs to be running it and then us to be helping facilitate. So I think what we talked about before is just us kind of beginning stages observing and then slowly kind of taking more responsibilities. But I was wondering what's the best direction for that, because we're getting mixed.
Yeah, well, first things first, the less people running training, the better. I kind of told that to Mason earlier, but look, I mean, there's part of it is I want y'all to get experience running training. Second thing is that it's part of it is a consistency thing. Even just having 2 people on training it starts to become a lack of consistency. If there's 4 people running training, there's no way that can result in a really good training. And I've seen that happen in multiple other offices where there's just too many. Again, just we want consistency from the interview to the PR call to training to PDI that first weekend. If there's too many different people running the training, they're not hearing the same thing over and over again. They're hearing something similar said different ways over and over again. What's the current training game plan?
So basically the way we've been doing it is, I'm running it for the most part, but I was getting more of them and more people involved. And involved meaning they're not technically running their own talks. They're hopping on just so they could, introduce themselves, offer some tips, kind of do a stop by, and then they just facilitate a video depending on which section it is, right? I'm running most of it, right? But when it comes to the demo teaching, we just play Mike's videos.
Yeah, Mason, how do you feel about that schedule right now?
I mean, I like it because I don't if I'm
is it hard? Is it tough on you on your schedule?
Well, if I'm no. So the thing is, if I'm gonna share a video myself, I'd rather someone else just hop on and they just do that, and then I wouldn't hop off. I'd
do
whatever. But I don't really want to just sit there and be facilitating a video when someone else could do that. But then for the opening comments, names list, PR talk, kicking things off for day 2, I've been doing all that. Just
cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine if we're doing that. Cassie, what were you gonna add?
I was just gonna say, like, basically Mason ran the majority of the important talks, and then it really helped the success with Lily. And then I have Carter because at the end of training, I also took over, and so it helped them like build a relationship with me, so I gained credibility. So that's where the success of Lily and Carter has come from, and they're already at like 3K their first weekend. But I think also just having the DMCs like observe and facilitate a video will allow them to learn, but also have like the training class like build a relationship with the DMC that's going to be coaching them.
Yeah, I think there is some level of presence that should happen inside the training. I just don't think there should be too many different people actively speaking or teaching all throughout the training. So if you are continuing to play at Mike's videos and have different people facilitating the playing of Mike's videos, I don't think that's a bad idea. But yeah, I wouldn't have a bunch of people giving different talks and messages in the actual training seminar all throughout the whole entire thing.
For example,
So I would just get out the grain of salt. And I think to your point, just the main thing is PBI. It's like y'all have to take a really active job with your actual people and coaching them. You can't wait till like Saturday afternoon to come online. Like it needs to be like a Friday night into Saturday morning till like 2:00. You just have to be on top of your people's demos. Or be on top of it enough to where you know who else is taking their calls if for some reason you're not able or available to do so. So, any other last questions before I let people run here?
This is just for Mason. If you could send me your sister's list in the SMRA chat, that'd be great.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Anything else, girl? All right. I appreciate all y'all carving out some time here today. As again, you know, the focus is here is recruiting. Go hit your PR sit number. Let's make sure we're driving attendance to Friday and Saturday. I also will not be, I will be speaking. I have a recorded message. That will be like a 40-minute message on Friday, but I will not physically be there. So I could use some support with just in the TLA chat and probably the Gunner chat actually for this Friday, since there'll be lots of people across the division. Make sure that anyone that you have in attendance to that event is added to the Gunner chat for Friday. And we're using that to facilitate some light bulbs across the entire division at the boot camp. There's going to be a couple different breakouts and some complicated attendance that's going to happen at that event too. So could y'all use your solid support there? Let's make sure we're building up the SMRA training. We're getting at least 5 SMRAs out this week, 5 SMRAs out next week, and then crushing our PR set number. And you guys know you have that extra little $600 to $1,000 in bonuses that's being given out to your team and staff every single week here for the rest of the spring, just to support a little bit. Let's get this ball rolling, get this thing off the ground. Next 2-3 weeks, focus on recruiting, and we will go from there. But I want to say again, nice work with the 15K new business week. That was before I feel like we've really gotten the ball rolling with a lot of stuff. So you're already putting up those numbers. The future for the rest of the spring is looking pretty good. And thanks again for all of y'all's hard work around everything that's been going on right now. I know it's going to be appreciated by myself, Mike, and Scott as well. So keep the good stuff. I'll be around if anyone needs me for communications, for WhatsApp, things like that. After support right now, feel free to reach out. See y'all this weekend, and then I'll see a lot of y'all on NLG call next Monday at 5, and Wednesday TLA Prep at 5 too.
Yeah, Andrew, could I add one quick? My bad.
Yeah.